All right, welcome in. And I just kind of wanted to start this channel off talking about the NFL draft. It's late March going into April, so you probably see a lot of draft content. Um, though the early parts of this draft have been talked about and the top of the board have been talked about, a lot so far in the media. I kind of wanted just to do it here just so maybe new people are listening in or just to, have it on record of kind of what this draft's going to look like. So if there's a lot of videos, you can follow along pretty easily. One thing that I thought was really cool is I found this software through Pro Football Focus where I was able to actually upload my own big board using their software, so it kind of is digestible a little bit easier. And I'll definitely link this so you can keep an updated list and just see some names to know. But yeah, I definitely wanted to talk about the top of this draft. It's going to be a weird draft here for 2026. The real kicker for this draft is the unpredictability that's going to cause. You're going to see it's going to be hard to predict what's going to happen at the top of the draft. That's because there's not a lot of, high valued positions and, guarantees really. Typically, a few years ago, you saw six quarterbacks go with the top 12 picks. Yeah, that's absolutely how it usually goes. Quarterbacks are going first. What's the next position that goes? Well, edge rusher or offensive tackles. Those are usually next. You start to see wide receivers start to have that higher position value and start to get moved up the boards and be more valued by teams. This year, it's going to be a defensive heavy draft, mainly because there's so many question marks on offense. Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first overall pick for the Las Vegas Raiders coming up. Best quarterback, easy pick. You know, even if a quarterback's not always the clear cut guy, they usually are valued with a top 10 pick. There's no other quarterback. Ty Simpson may find his way to sneak into the first round only because quarterback is such a valued position. So that could be the strange thing that you'll see is if Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama, gets in there. Otherwise, it's not a guarantee as of right now. The offensive tackles, there's two. They play right tackle. That's Francis Mauanoa and that's Spencer Fanu. We'll talk about them a little bit later. Teams aren't really in love with them by any means, so they're not a guarantee to necessarily be top 10 picks. Maybe Mauanoa more than Fanu. And then the wide receivers are just they have their own array of problems, and we'll definitely dive into that. So there's not a lot of guarantees. These defenders, edge rushers, there's some good edge rushers here. There's some good linebackers. There's some positions that aren't typically highly valued in the NFL draft, but they're good players. They're really good players, and they should be higher valued for these guys. So those are going to be fun to talk about. So yeah, let's just kind of dive right into it. Starting with my number one player in this draft. It was a toss-up between Arvell Reese, the Ohio State linebacker edge, kind of dual guy, or Caleb Downs. Um, all things considered, I think Caleb Downs is definitely the best player. When you watch him play football, um, he's all over the field. So yeah, we're going to call him a safety. Calling him just a safety is not fair because he's going to come down. He's going to play like a linebacker. He's going to play closer to line of scrimmage. When you talk about cornerbacks, your cornerbacks, right? So you'll have a cornerback that's usually plays inside called the nickel. The best nickel cornerback in the draft, it might be Caleb Downs. So he'll play that, and guard that shiftier slot receiver. Probably the best of anybody. He can line up against the tight end. He's a great leader, and it's shown at Ohio State the past few years. And again, just kind of does everything. Incredibly high IQ. He knows everything that's happening in the play, kind of reads it very quickly, and just goes and makes the tackle, makes the play. I will say with Caleb Downs, what's currently kind of hurting his stock, there's two main things, right? Safety is considered not a critical position in the NFL draft. It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's arbitrary, just kind of made up by NFL scouts, but certain positions are valued more than others. Even though, in my opinion, I think safety is an incredibly important position to play, it's not always seen as a highly valued NFL draft position. So what you see with safeties, they tend to fall. Brian Branch from Alabama got drafted to the Detroit Lions. He was definitely a guy that could have been argued to be a top 10 pick, and he was picked at the end of the first round. Um, Malachi Starks from Georgia a couple years back, another great prospect. He fell down in the draft. Caleb Downs, the prospect, may be so highly considered that he could go to the top 5. I think the first reasonable place would be the New York Giants picking at number 5. They have Harbaugh now as the coach, and he valued Kyle Hamilton whenever he was coaching Baltimore, and that was an important piece of his defense. So if he understands out of anybody the value of a safety position, and I think that could be the first really true landing spot. If he goes higher than that, I think it's deserved. But safety might push him down, sure. The other thing is that's a little bit wonky. They're going to talk about on draft day the knee problems, and I don't even feel comfortable calling them problems because we don't know the whole story. Right now at the combine, he was checked out by doctors, and it was reported by one NFL team that he had a meniscus problem that just needed to be touched up, routine touch up, no big deal. May cause him to miss a little bit of training camp, but that's about it. The other problem was and this is crazy, the degenerative ACL. Now that sounds awful. It does not sound like something you wanted a player. Again, that's something that's just kind of an analysis by a doctor saying, we see in a couple of years, this is going to be a problem, blah, blah, blah. I will say one guy that I know that had that problem was Todd Gurley. 2015 NFL draft, was drafted by the St. Louis Rams. And Gurley had the degenerative ACL. He still had a couple 1,000-yard rushing seasons, and he played well 4 or 5 years. After that time, he was completely out of the NFL. So, that's where it gets a little bit scary. But regardless, I think Caleb Downs is a phenomenal player. I will say this. For NFL scouts, media will treat it how they want. For NFL scouts, I would never want my scouting department to start picking and choosing what injuries are scarier than others. I don't want them to go, well, he had a couple ankle sprains and this guy had a hamstring issue. I don't think ankle sprains are as big a deal as a hamstring, so I'll put this guy here. I'm going to drop this guy because of the hamstring, blah, 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 blah. I don't love my scouts playing doctor. Rank the player of how they played the last season. And if you watch Caleb Downs at Ohio State, he's a top 5, top 3, number 1 player for me. Let my doctor come in and say, hey, we can't draft this guy. He's got a bad knee problem. If my doctor comes in and says that, cool. He's off our board. That's fine. But if my doctor says, I don't see a real reason this should be concerning, we're drafting him. All right. So that's why I'm going to stay true to keeping him as my number 1 player. Next one is Arvell Reese. These Ohio State kids. I mean, there's 3 Ohio State kids in the top 4. Arvell Reese is another just phenomenal player. I have him officially listed as a linebacker here. He, again, great instincts, positionless, plays the edge, plays linebacker, explosive, runs around, chases the defender, chases the ball carrier. I think he has the ability to play in man coverage. I think he reacts well. I think he plays sideline to sideline, true sideline to sideline. To me, he should be a definite. He should be a New York Jet going number 2. I think he'd fit, with that position value, of course, of edge rushers. But I mean, him and Caleb Downs one day I could wake up and switch them around. I think that's how close they are. Then you have the quarterback, of course, Fernando Mendoza. Great season, great player, championship season. Mendoza is going to be the number 1 overall pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. Can't imagine they're going to mess that up. Sonny Styles. Now, Sonny Styles at the start of this draft kind of had that hope that he was going to fall to Dallas at 12. I think that hope was lost for many fans once he really showed his athletic testing. That's another thing going back to Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is not going to stand out in the athletic testing. He's going to stand out playing football. Sonny Styles can play football, don't get me wrong, but Sonny Styles will do incredible things, at the combine, and he did. And he's really kind of got the good instincts and coverage. good field position. Man, he was always in the right spot. I felt like watching him. Uh, People are going to be concerned with his ability to kind of disengage from blocks and play that kind of downhill role. But I really think he does have a future just playing middle linebacker and staying back in coverage, coming down when he needs to. He's a big part of that Ohio State defense. And of course, if you don't know, he actually comes from an NFL bloodline. His father, Lorenzo Styles, played for 6 years, who also won a Super Bowl with the St. Louis Rams. So I do have Sonny ranked as number 4. That can be considered a little bit high for a linebacker. That's another position that can sometimes be not as valuable as, let's say, David Bailey, who's my number 5 at edge. David Bailey, Ruben Bain, should look at these two guys together, 5 and 7. I think a lot of people are going to put Bain over Bailey. I value the more athletic, just edge rusher, pass rusher, explosive first step, great hands, great production, 14 and a half sacks last year, forcing fumbles. Bailey from Texas Tech really just kind of dominated everybody in front of him, and I think he, in my opinion, is a clear number 1 edge in this class. Again, like I said, explosive first step, got a deep bag of pass rush moves. He knows how to win. What I love from Bailey is when the offensive tackle gets to him and answers his first move, and he gets kind of stopped up, he doesn't let that end his rush. There's a lot of guys who don't know what to do after their first go-to move, get stopped up. Bailey immediately goes into that counter move. He gets in the backfield, and he really just makes plays, makes pressures all the time. Where Ruben Bain can elevate over Bailey, I think Bain plays with an incredible motor. I think he's a little bit more physical, a little bit more mean, a little bit more violent, has the production of having that longevity of a football season, playing on a championship run for Miami, Florida, going all the way and losing in that national championship game. He's probably more of your run defender than a pure pass rusher, like I would describe Bailey. But Bain has the ability to get to the quarterback, and he plays really well. The thing that's going to kill Ruben Bain, they don't have it here. Let's see if they'll have it on his. I bet you they don't list it. They don't list it here. That'd be a good idea. The arm length. So at the combine, they measure your arm length, right? When you're talking about edge rushers, you are looking for 32, 33-inch arms and above. You don't want the offensive tackle to be able to extend and beat you. When the offensive tackle extends, you want to be able to have more of an arm length, more of a reach, and get around and just kind of use that to your advantage. I will say with Ruben Bain in particular, I believe he measured just under 31 inches. Now, I'll tell you this. There are NFL teams who try to make this draft a science, and they will take Ruben Bain completely off their draft board and call him undraftable because his arm length is too short. I think it's a little bit unfair because if you watch his tape, there is production. There's a lot of production from Ruben Bain, but they have a great stat backing it up. There has not been an NFL Pro Bowl edge rusher drafted with arms that are sub 31 inches in the modern draft era. So that's not a good sign. There's no you don't get Pro Bowl edges under 31 inches, right? And there's been a lot of guys who've tried. Now, I don't think we've ever seen a prospect like Bain come in with a sub 31 inch arms. So that's kind of where the give and take of it. Yeah, Bain could be the first, but when you think about the NFL draft, there's a lot at stake. Sometimes teams are going to say, we'll let someone else be the hero. They can find the first ever guy with 30-inch arms to be a Pro Bowl edge rusher. I think that's probably your upper echelon. I have those guys as first-round grades, of course. I think that's your upper echelon of the first-round grades. I will say I only have 14 first-round grades, and you're looking at the rest of the list here. Now, what is a first-round grade? That's an important thing to know. there's 32 picks in the first round. Sure, there's not 32 first round grade players. Again, we're trying to separate these players. Not not every year, every class is going to be the same. Therefore, sometimes there's going to be only, you know, 15 first round grades, 18 first round grades, because you're trying to tier these players the best you can, and you're trying to make it, um, again, more of a science. So when you have that upper echelon of players, you're going to call them first round grades. It's never going to have 32 first round grades. You're going to have to use later picks and draft your second round pool. That first round grade is for me, that is your elite tier. I see skills that I see multiple skills that immediately transfer to the NFL. I don't see a big learning curve that you'll need. I think first round grades are plug and play and can actually produce at a high level. Like I said, I have 14, but I would take that top seven and 8 through 14 and grade them differently. About to skip, sorry, Jeremiah Love, fantastic running back. Uh, he kind of he's 6 foot, but he kind of runs a little bit taller, but he just keeps going. He has great balance, good set of hands, and he's a tough runner. He just runs through people. He was born into a military family. He was a 4-star recruit, went to Notre Dame, and he's just a guy who just loves to get momentum and just run people over. He's really tough to bring down. I think what separates him is he's a really good pair of hands. I'll be honest, a lot of people do really love Jeremiah Love. I've seen him get mocked to the Tennessee Titans, which I think is a great place for him. I don't think he's a better prospect than Ashton Genty of last year and a few years ago Bijan Robinson. So I wouldn't put him above those guys, but he's probably the third if I had to rank all those guys in one. So yes, I want to give him his due. He's going to be probably a top 5 pick, but he could fall because that's another position. Running back's the greatest example of a position that for a while was no longer valued, and people would not spend a first round pick on him. And Genty, Robinson showed that it is valuable to do it. Genty didn't really have a great rookie year, so maybe that will scare some teams. But I think Jeremiah Love is a fantastic prospect. All right, so let's get into these 8 through 14 and kind of go through these guys. I'll take about the tackles. The tackles will probably get drafted high because they play tackle. I actually have Spencer Fanu graded over Francis Mauanoa. And I'll say the main thing is on these two, I really love the footwork and technique of Fanu over Francis Mauanoa. I, I will say, watching a lot of players, I feel like it's a lot harder to teach a guy how to use their feet than it is to teach them how to use their hands. Cowboys drafted Tyler Smith from Tulsa in 2024 in the first round. That was a big surprise. Tyler Smith led the NCAA in holding penalties or some crazy stat like that. He didn't know what to do with his hands. He was a powerful player. He was great on the move, good footwork. He had no idea what to do with his hands when he was blocking. And he got holding calls because of it. Got to Dallas, immediately was taught, hey, this is what you do. This is how you don't get called for holds. He played left tackle for us. He played great. Now he's a all-pro left guard for the Cowboys. I think it's a lot easier to teach a guy how to use their hands. Something about teaching guys how to use their feet is a larger learning curve. I think the feet. I think your footwork are more just natural instincts, how you move, and I think it's really difficult to teach guys how to use their feet. So the footwork on Fanu really impresses me. 6'6", 302. I want to say about his measurements. 308. So yeah, I have him a little bit graded higher than Mauanoa. I want to say a few things for Mauanoa. He's a great, powerful player. He's a great athlete, and he has great hands. But I wouldn't say his feet are bad or anything. But he has violent hands, strong guy. He's kind of a bigger tackle. I will say with these two, I think Fanu, again, it's an arm length thing on him. He measured in with a little bit shorter arms. Uh, Will Campbell, LSU tackle, who was a top pick for the New England Patriots last season. I think they have the same exact measurements of arm length, and a lot of people really gave Will Campbell a lot of flack in the Super Bowl because he was a rookie out there, but he was getting beat up a little bit. So I wouldn't put it too much. Fanu has broader shoulders, so a longer wingspan than Will Campbell did. Both, I think, are really solid players. They played on the right side, so playing right tackle might be a little bit tougher to switch them over to left tackle. So then you see actually guys. We'll see if I don't have them ranked super high, but uh, there's a tackle from Georgia. Gosh, I don't even have them at the top. Let's see, how far down do I have them? If I even have them, I don't see it. There's a Georgia tackle that's kind of flying up draft boards. Monroe Freeling. I have a second round grade on him. He's actually my fifth tackle in this, so I don't even have him on this ranking here. He's my fifth tackle. He's a true left tackle, and that may cause him to be a high pick. I don't see it as much, so maybe I'm missing something. He's a good athlete. I don't see the power, and I don't see the balance. He kind of gets leans into blocks a little bit too much for me. So I didn't see it as much with Monroe Freeling, but we'll see how that ends up going. Now, I want to take a look. Let's really quickly, before we talk about these two corners, I want to talk about these wide receivers. So we got three wide receivers right here. We got Jordan Tyson, we got Mekhi Lemon, and we got Carnell Tate. If you wanted to, you could take these guys off of the first round grades. These are not your Jamar Chase deal. Jordan Tyson, and I want to say, was Tate the only one that worked out at the combine? No one's working out at the NFL combine anymore. Sorry, Mekhi Lemon did, because there's a different story to that. Jordan Tyson is my number one wide receiver. He's a 6'2" wide receiver. I think he is a great yards after catch. That's kind of my new desire in wide receivers, if you want to say. He has great speed, great route runner, and get him the ball, crossing route down the field, get him the ball, let him make the magic after he's got the ball in his hand. That's where he kind of stands out. Yeah, he's not a physical, jump ball kind of guy, but I think he can kill some corners with his route moves. Great route tree. Has a bit of an injury history. I know he's dealing with this hamstring injury. He did not work out at the combine because of this hamstring injury, and he has a little bit of a rougher collarbone injury back in 24, and then knee injury 4 years ago. He's got the injury history, so that's kind of messed with him a little bit. The next guy, Mekhi Lemon. Now he's 5'11", 195. I will say this about Mekhi Lemon. For being a shorter guy, he is very technical, and he has a very strong set of hands. So yes, a corner can be bigger than him, but I really trust him to be at the point of contact and coming down with that ball. He's a good route runner. He's got strong focus for the ball. Not a shifty mover. Not really top end speed kind of guy. Yards after catch is kind of my concern with him, but I think he's a great receiver, and he's a physical set of hands. NFL Combine, Mekhi Lemon got a lot of flack for some of his interview stuff. That's besides the point. During the wide receiver drills, he ran lazy. I don't know how we want to call it. They asked him to kind of run 3/4 speed on their drills, and he kind of ran out of quarter speed. Already not a fast guy, and it kind of just ran it lazy. I don't know how that's going to rub scouts. I will say my third wide receiver, and I've been kind of stayed on this as the third guy, is Carnell Tate. He may end up being the first receiver off the board going, and he may be the only top 10 wide receiver, because yes, he's not the super crazy route runner, yards after catch guy, hands guy that I like with Lemon and Tyson. I think Carnell Tate is the safest of all of them, and he comes with the least amount of baggage. He's a 6'3", 195. Uh, he does have a strong set of hands on him too. One thing I loved about him was he makes the contested catch. When you throw up a 50-50 ball, it's more of a kind of 70, 70-30 situation. I will say I don't know what Pro Football Focus considers a contested pass, but per Pro Football Focus, the Ohio State Buckeyes threw Tate 12 contested targets, and he caught 11 of them. So that's a pretty good rate on contested catches for him. So yeah, he's a solid player. I wouldn't be surprised if he's the first receiver off the board. But just considering the 2025 film, yeah, I do like Lemon, and I do like Tyson a little bit more than him. Let's finish up real quick talking about the cornerbacks situation. So we got Jamon McCoy here. We got Mansour Delane as the top two corners. Mansour Delane, he's a little bit easier one to talk about. This is another guy Cowboys are hoping to falls to 12 to them. He may go to the Kansas City Chiefs at 9, maybe a Cincinnati Bengal at 10. Great coverage guy. Knows how to stay with his with the receiver and man coverage. Fluid mover, carries routes across the field. That's something I'm looking a lot for in my cornerbacks. How they work across the field. They send all these receivers on deep routes that go in, or just run them just straight across the field and just try to outspeed them. I think Mansour Delane does a great job keeping up with those wide receivers. Smaller frame. He's 5'11", 187. He played outside corner in college. Will he be restricted to the nickel corner position inside at the NFL level? I don't know. I think he does have a future there, though, playing outside. I think he can do it. Let's go down to Jamon McCoy. I kind of talk about him here as my last first-round grade. Jamon McCoy, you'll see this 2025, did not play. Look at the 2024. Played very well. Jamon McCoy in 2024 is a physical man coverage guy, has great speed, stays sticky in coverage, gets a little bit grabby here and there, but he's a great mover, great catch-up speed, deep ball. He'll track it, he'll find it, come down with the interception. Great in man coverage, work on the zone a little bit more. 6 foot, 193 for Jamon McCoy. I will say all that. 2025, January, he's in practice, tears his ACL. He's out the entirety of that 2025 season. So he has not played football since December 2024. We're 15 months removed. Yes. He did not work out at the combine. It's tough to grade him on that because so many players who are perfectly healthy refuse to work out at the combine. McCoy doesn't work out at the combine. He has his pro day coming up in a week. That is going to be the most important pro day of this draft process. All the scouts, all the media, all the fans should be watching the Tennessee Volunteers pro day. That will give you everything you need to know. In a perfect world, he runs fast. He doesn't look like he's missed a step, and he is back draftable for teams. There are teams who are good enough where they're okay. LA Rams, they can take McCoy. They don't necessarily need him to start right away. They can wait for him to develop. But there's teams like the Dallas Cowboys who need somebody week 1 of the NFL season, who need somebody to be out there competing at training camp. There are reports, Jerry Jones did say he's not taking redshirt players, meaning he's not taking guys who need to rehab from injuries and may not be ready for week 1. But Jamon McCoy has a great pro day, hasn't lost a step. Is Jamon McCoy a redshirt guy, or can he play at training camp? That'll be the number one question. So that is all my first round grades. So that is my top of the draft. Other things that we need to look out for and kind of wrap up here. Kenyon Sadiq is a great tight end. I see him kind of in that mid-tier 15 is good from Peter Woods. Great defensive lineman, physical guy down the middle. Dylan Thieneman has jumped up a lot of people's draft boards. I personally have him as a second-round grade right there at 17. I think is a nice spot for him. Yeah, he's a great down-low physical player. plays in the box, right? So that plays closer to line of scrimmage, almost as a linebacker. Not a deep coverage kind of guy, in my opinion, but he's been kind of talked about closer to pick 12 and above. That's a big rise for me, and I'm surprised by it. Cowboys fans have definitely talked about him at pick 12. I don't know. That may be a little bit of a reach for me. PFF graded him really well, though. He's a good player. He's a good player, absolutely. But I don't know if he is that elite defensive prospect. I think you got to kind of keep Caleb Downs separated from him. CJ Allen, this is probably your best bet for a middle linebacker that will realistically be there. He plays good in coverage. He's a big physical guy. I love how CJ Allen kind of plays down, runs towards the line of scrimmage. He loves engaging with blockers, throwing people out of the way, and making plays in the run game. Yes, he can sit back. He's not a super fluid mover, run around, good speed guy, but he can sit back in his own coverage. He reads it well, and he can go ahead and attack with his tackling ability. Uh, Let me see if there's. I think these are the last two guys I really want to talk about today because that kind of gets you to your pick 20. Avion Terrell, the younger brother of AJ Terrell, who plays for the Atlanta Falcons. This is a guy who I would put in my nickel corner spot immediately. Yeah, he can play some coverage, but I love how this kid tackles. I love how he wants to play football physically. Here's what will set you off. 5'11", 180. He's a little bit of a smaller frame guy, but man, see, Avion Terrell loves to hit people. That is what he plays football for. He's a great mover, and like I said, he loves to kind of come up and blow up the play. So I love that kind of just mentality for my players. I would absolutely consider him at pick 20. And the last guy I'll talk about is Akeem Mesidor because I think he played like a first-round grade edge rusher. He has the production to be considered a first-round grade edge rusher. Mesidor, he's my third edge. Great skill set. He's super disruptive, gets out there to the edge, and just as a physical player, 12 and a half sacks for him. Super productive. Two things on him. He's going to be 25 years old. The age doesn't scare me as much. What scares me about him is I need him to be ready. If you're going to be 25 years old, you better be ready to play football for me, tomorrow. Okay, so if you can do that, fine. Let's go. And the Cowboys have a short window with Dak Prescott, so I need guys who are ready to play football tomorrow. The past injuries for him, he's had 2 separate foot surgeries. I get scared with foot surgeries. That hurts your burst, hurts your ability to run. That's another thing with the Caleb Downs situation with Jamal McCoy. Akeem Mesidor is right in that same category. I'm scouting the player. He's a great player. If my doctor comes in and says you cannot touch this guy, his feet are bad, fine, we'll take him off the board. Dr. Dan Cooper comes in and says feet are good to go, I'm all for it. Let's take them. All right. Well, thanks for kind of sitting around and just listening to me talk about the top of this draft. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun NFL draft, and maybe not for teams that really desperately need defenders, but it'll be fun nonetheless. Thanks for sitting. I know this is a longer video, but this draft you can spend hours talking about it and just talking about how the first end of this thing goes. I'm definitely going to do some more content about later rounds. Definitely want to talk about the linebackers, a big need for the Cowboys. Feel free if you want to take my big board. I'll have it down below so you can take a look at this, save this to your devices so you can keep up with it. Look forward to doing my mock draft. Going to do a full 32-team mock draft, put it on the website. So definitely something I would love for you guys to check out. But yeah, thanks for tuning in.